these are the moments that you dream about.
Loves it up, and he gets it. Are you kidding me? What an interception! My, oh my! Huge hit. Ball is out. The ball is out. That was sick. Unbelievable. We keep thinking we've seen it all, and we never have we?
We're sad. We're sad.
We're sad because it's the last
We're
ride.
sad. This is it.
It's the last ride, regardless of
ride.
how comfortable that ride might be in a Ram truck. Welcome into the Kickoff, presented by Ram Trucks.
Roomy.
He's Gary Striewski.
Roomy.
I am Randy Scott. Would you drive and I would recline in the back? Perhaps.
That'd be amazing. You can actually, it's so big, as if you get a crew cab, you can actually lay down completely.
Maybe a roll. I probably can't. You can't either. Well, wait.
At an angle.
There's a lot.
At an angle.
There's plenty of room. We've made it to the final game. Final show, final game. Championship game, Ohio State and Notre Dame. We're going to run through how these two teams got there. And for me, I think it's safe to say one team had a tougher road.
I
think Ohio State had a tougher road.
Okay, but here's the thing. Notre Dame had to play a basketball school.
They did.
And then they had to beat a backup quarterback with no experience, making his first start.
And then they had to beat James Franklin.
And then they had to beat 1-14 against the AP top 5 in his time at Penn State, James Franklin.
Yes, after James Franklin tried to sun their coach all week long.
Think of all the adversity that Notre Dame went through.
Yeah.
And that's a question you don't have to think very long, because the adversity they went through is zero.
There's being born on third base, and then there's Notre Dame's path to get here.
Which they were halfway home.
Shout out Ohio State. Tennessee was supposed to be somebody. Oregon in the Rose Bowl. That was supposed to be a challenge. Their first loss, right? Took them down. Ohio State, the Buckeyes have proven that they have the most talented team.
I was thinking I got to be somebody. Travis Tritt.
Tracy Chapman. Somebody. Yes, the little river boy. So you got the win over Oregon, then you got the win over Texas, which was kind of an SEC version of Ohio State in terms of talent.
Correct.
All season long, we've been extolling the virtues of both of those rosters as perhaps being A, NIL warriors, and B, the two most talented probably in all of college football.
And the best game, or rather, never mind, I'm thinking about Texas, Arizona State.
Yeah,
but yes, Ohio State had, by all accounts, the toughest path.
Number one,
through all of this.
undefeated. The only undefeated team in the field was Oregon, and Ohio State thumped them, and then took care of Texas in Texas at Jerry's place.
Well, listen, hey,
and here we are in Atlanta.
Play who's on the schedule.
And listen, and up next for Notre Dame is perhaps the most dynamic offense that it has faced since. I mean, do you want to say all season? Do you want to say?
It's not even close all season.
Jeremiah Smith, Travion Henderson, Quinton Judkins.
Ohio State has the best football player left in this field 2 rounds ago. You know what I mean? Jeremiah Smith. To Texas's credit, just like all of our ball knowers said, Jahdae Barron and that Texas secondary, there's a reason he's the Thorpe Award winner, and Texas secondary is going to be the reason that Jeremiah Smith went for 1 catch and 3 yards. Notre Dame, they don't have equally as good and as deep of a secondary, but that could be one of their strengths. So at any rate, Notre Dame's in for one.
Okay, we are both in for one. Actually, I think I'm about to really get embarrassed on this show, but we're going to show our preseason college football playoff picks. So we go all the way back to September, our first show, and we were asked to pick the 12-team playoff, how we saw it. Your picks are pretty good.
I mean, I was 8 for 12.
You had Georgia. You had Ohio State. A lot of people thought Miami should have been in there. We were both high on Utah. You had Texas. You had Oregon. You had Notre Dame. I don't know what I was thinking.
I mean,
I had the
50%'s pretty good.
I had the first 2. I had Texas, Notre Dame, had Penn State, had Oregon, and then the last 4 are laughable.
Utah, Oklahoma,
NC State?
I mean, well, because listen,
I had NC State?
You were riding high off of their Final Four appearance, in the tournament, March Madness, both men's and women's program, and you're like,
that was probably
there's something in the water down there in Raleigh.
Yes, Raleigh-Durham. You know what they have? Cookout. You know what Cookout has? Milkshakes. You know what a milkshake does?
Brings all the boys to the yard.
All the boys to the yard. So we're off and running.
That you do.
What's that? Just
a little wiggle.
One of these. We're off and running right here on the Kickoff, presented by Ram Trucks. It is time now for Built for Success, presented by Ram Trucks. It all comes down to this. It is Ohio State. It is Notre Dame. Can both teams lose? I know what you're thinking. No, but for the national championship. And the Irish come into this one as heavy underdogs.
These are likable programs.
Sure.
Humble programs.
Humble, yes. Bootstrap programs. They've won 13 straight games. Have the Irish, the Buckeyes, coming in with their top-ranked defense, putting the clamps on everyone so far in the playoff. Notre Dame looking for its first title since 1988. Ohio State is looking to win their first title since they won the first college football playoff back when it was 4 teams, way back when.
And you called that a decade.
In 2014.
You differently.
Well,
sometimes you got an air of sophistication about you.
For this matchup, you have to. You know what I mean? You got the private school, and then you got the inferiority complex in Ohio State. Sorry, it's the point. Ohio State University. Sam Acho.
Oh, the Sam Acho.
Sam Acho, not in this building,
correct,
but in a building.
In a domicile.
And he joins us. Sam, for this matchup specifically, we just went through the drought for Notre Dame, 1988. You got to go all the way back. Gary wasn't even born. And then you got Ohio State, who've been waiting a decade here, or a decade. For whom would this be a bigger title? Who needs this more, Sam?
I think Notre Dame needs it a little bit more. I think it'd be a bigger title for Notre Dame. Why? Gary, you weren't born. I was 3 months old on January 2nd, 1989, when Notre Dame won their last national championship. And so for a lot of people, this is a lifetime opportunity to go and have Notre Dame win a natty. Not only is it Marcus Freeman early in his career as a coach, but it's an opportunity to take down a team that is dominant, a team like Ohio State that's been great. So you have to be able to play at your best. But for me, Notre Dame doing it for the first time since the 1988 season, January 2nd, 1989 was when the game was played, will be the chance of a lifetime, or really a couple people's lifetimes.
Yeah. Ohio State, Sam, meanwhile, they haven't had a bite at the championship apple when they last won a decade ago. In order for them to be the best team in the country with another national championship, they have to incorporate Jeremiah Smith more. 1 catch, 3 yards in the semifinal win. How do the Buckeyes incorporate their all-world freshman more in this game?
Well, they just do what they did when teams play them normally, right?
Okay.
What happened with Texas in the last game where Jeremiah Smith only had 1 catch? Texas played a ton of zone. They let anyone else besides Jeremiah Smith beat them. But here's the thing. Normally, Notre Dame plays man. Over 50% of the time, they're going to play man-to-man defense. And so that means Jeremiah Smith is going to have opportunities. It's not going to be this different type of game plan where it's all zone or you might have 2 people on Jeremiah Smith. Just act like last week was an anomaly because it was. You're going to go back to a lot of man-to-man defense. Jeremiah Smith will have one-on-one, and Will Howard just has to get him the rock.
Okay. What about the sidelines here? Obviously, Ryan Day, a lot of people called for his job after another loss to Michigan. There's only 1 loss for Marcus Freeman this year, but it wasn't a good one. It was that Northern Illinois loss. So for which coach would this title do more for? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for, not necessarily who needs it more, but for which coach would this be more impactful, Sam?
Oh, wow. Impactful is great. I mean, initially I was going to say Ryan Day, and the reason why is that he lost 4 straight games to Michigan. But when you talk about impact, that changes the trajectory a little bit. If you want to say impact, I would say actually Marcus Freeman, because the impact that Marcus Freeman would make as a head coach early in his career, less than 40 years old, took a program that Brian Kelly had said, oh, they don't have enough and they don't have what it takes to win. And all of a sudden, he's able to do that for the first time in 36 years. For me, that speaks impact. Now, if we're talking about, okay, who needs it more, I would argue that Ryan Day needs it more based off what we talked about, those 4 straight losses to Michigan and the chances that he hasn't won. But I think impact, I go Notre Dame, I go Marcus Freeman.
Let's go from impact on the sidelines literally to impact under center in shotgun. You got 2 transfer quarterbacks in Will Howard and Riley Leonard in their first year at their new programs, leading their teams to the national championship. None of them necessarily world beaters here, Sam, but who do you trust more in this spot?
I trust Riley Leonard more in this spot. A lot of the reason is not just based off of the system that he is. Riley Leonard doesn't throw the ball as much. The ball's going to be in harm's way less. But I go back to what he did last year at Duke. Riley Leonard, even that game early in the season versus Clemson, he took over. He has the ability and the capability to take over games. And it's in this weird way where you're thinking, okay, he just threw an interception. What's next? Interception, boom. The next play, he's dropping dimes and throwing darts. And so for me, the trust level of Riley Leonard, not only with his arm, but also with his legs. If the game's on the line, think about the Georgia game. Georgia, the way that Notre Dame won that game is that they won with the quarterback run. And so Riley Leonard could do it in a multitude of ways. I trust him more in the big moments.
I stand by this as just sort of as an aside. If Riley Leonard and Will Howard just switched with one another and didn't tell anybody,
yeah,
nobody would know. Dude, nobody would know. If Riley Leonard and Will Howard swapped spots in the locker room, nobody would know, dude. And I think
what if you and Randy swap spots? Would anybody know if you and Randy did
Gary's
a little
mom would
switcheroo?
know.
Would anybody?
Correct. Yeah. I think most people would know just because I got way more gray hair than Randy, and boom, dead giveaway.
Well, my hair color is whatever's in the bottle. I think we've established. That. I want to tap into Sam's area of expertise here. In your side of the football, Sam. Listen, Ohio State's defense, the bona fides, are off the charts. Like, they have put the clamps down on everyone in their path over the last month and a half. Well, Michigan notwithstanding. Notre Dame, no slouch on that side of the ball as well. If Notre Dame's going to find success against a Buckeye defense, where do they do it?
Wow. Well, they have to do it in the run game initially. You have to be able to establish the run, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think once you establish the run, I think Notre Dame's going to have to try to attack the receivers on the outside. Ohio State has great safeties. That's what they do well. But Notre Dame, if they want to win this game, they got to run the ball and play good defense. That's what has been said by Marcus Freeman time and time again. Run the ball, stop the run. Run the ball, stop the run. And that interception that you just saw, even the fumble that you just saw, were game-sealing plays on defense. So run the ball, attack the outside when you get the opportunities, and stop the run on defense. And oh, by the way, Notre Dame is dominant on fourth down special teams. Keep your eye open on kickoff return, punt return, for fakes, for specials, for different plays to try and gain momentum.
Acho, last question. That is what Notre Dame has to do if they want to win. Question is, do they win? Who's your pick and why?
Oh, my goodness. Man, we got a little momentum going this way. Now I got to kind of switch it up. I will go.
When you skedet, I got to skedat.
I got to go Ohio State. The reason why is this. Notre Dame has heart, so does Ohio State. Notre Dame has talent, so does Ohio State. But this Ohio State team, to me, feels a lot more like the Michigan team of last year. A lot of guys, NFL talent, didn't go to the NFL. Guys like Jack Sawyer return. Lathan Ransom return. Caleb Downs transferred from Alabama to step in. So many of these defensive players are fifth-year and fourth-year starters. Yeah. They've been there before, and they came back for this goal of a national championship. So give me Ohio State 28-24.
All right.
A little bit. Hey, Notre Dame covers.
Yeah, a little bit closer than the experts might. And that's what we say. Good teams win, great teams cover. Speaking of great, that's Sam Acho. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you, Sam.
Awesome. Thank you all.
And keeping it rolling, we're joined now by Tennessee State head football coach.
Oh, come on.
And for the purposes of this conversation as well, sort of a dual purpose here, Ohio State legend Eddie George is with us.
And since we're both millennials here,
yeah.
The cover of Madden 2001, baby, which had the best soundtrack in the Madden franchise, and I stand on that.
Yes.
Eddie George. Oh, yeah, also Heisman Trophy winner, too.
Yeah,
Heisman, a little bit hard.
There's a little, the bona fides are there. And actually, for this first question, you have this personal relationship, you have this close tie with Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman. What can you tell us about that? How'd that come to be?
Well, we're both Buckeyes, one. Two, I remember Marcus when he played under Jim Tressel so many years. And then when he got into coaching at Notre Dame, we scheduled a game there 2 years ago to play up there. And I went up for a press conference. So we spent a little time then just getting to know one another. I had questions about just coaching, his philosophy, facilities, nutrition, how he handles certain things, how he handles the quarterback and so forth. Just trying to sharpen my sword, so to speak, because he's been in it longer than I have. And, of course, Notre Dame won that day. But we had a firsthand opportunity to look at how it looks, you know, in terms of excellence and precision and a dominant attitude and finish and all of that. And, you know, I've taken some of those lessons and I've applied it to what we do here at Tennessee State. And, you know, over time, he would text me a message saying, hey, you guys are looking good. You're doing well. Keep it up. You know, just giving me some words of encouragement and vice versa. And ironically enough, you know, a few weeks ago when he got into the playoff, I texted him. I said, congratulations. I can't wait to come up and you know, to sharpen my sword and break bread with you and so forth. So, you know, when we talk about Ohio State being a brotherhood, regardless of the profession, regardless of where he's coaching, it truly is, you know, and it goes across the board. You know, I can talk to guys from the 70s or the 60s. It's all the same with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, we just have a real strong brotherhood. That's where it comes from.
Eddie, let's talk about that brotherhood because there are not many schools that wear that alumni status with more pride than those who went to Ohio State. So what is Marcus Freeman dealing with, do you think, in terms of coaching the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to beat the school that he went to, that he played football at, that he had so much pride in going to? What do you think that dynamic is for Marcus Freeman in that locker room?
He wants to whip their ass. Period. Okay. There is no internal conflict.
Okay.
There is no battle. Okay. Listen, there's one. You went there, you love the school, but when he has a job to do. Right now, he's fighting Irish through and through, and he's listen. This is not his first rodeo. He went to the shoe 2 years ago. Didn't fare well there. Played him at home. Was one man short of probably winning that ball game. So he's like, okay, at some point, we're going to have some favor go our way, and we're going to find a way to beat this team. And I'm pretty sure he understands. He's not going to be overwhelmed by it. This is not his first rodeo. He's trying to get a national championship. And listen, if Ohio State wins, he's not going to be happy. But, right now he's thinking of, hey, how can I win? How can I beat my alma mater? He knows he's got a tough task at hand.
All right, so listen, Marcus Freeman goes back to Columbus, and if Notre Dame wins, he's just going to have to pay for his meals going forward.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how it's going to be. A little awkward like Bobby Carpenter on his radio show or whatever it is. Eddie, on the sideline for the Scarlet and Gray here, you got a coach in Ryan Day who certainly went through it after that loss to that team up north. How much credit do you give him for the run that these Buckeyes have been on since that day?
It all starts with Ryan Day. I'm pretty sure the meeting after that loss, whatever day that was, he set the tone. And I read something somewhere where he told his wife, hey, I'm going to have to fight out of this one. And that told me, he rolled his sleeves up. He took the loss on the chin like a man, didn't complain about it, didn't make any excuses, and said, we're going to go back and get better. We're going to come back and make a statement. And not just go win the national championship, but just make a statement for the next game. To be tough, to be physical, and let the scoreboard take care of itself. And that's tough to do, especially in Columbus, because if he's not built for that, if you're not mentally tough, if you're not resilient, if you don't come from that type of spirit, he could not have rallied the troops and gone on a run the way he has. So all the credit goes to Ryan Day because he set the tone for that team coming into the playoff. Was like, listen, forget about the end result. We're just going to focus on being the most physical, the most dominant, imposing football team on the field, and no one can see us, and it's paid off. And kudos to him because that's a tough one to bounce back from. But he's notorious for bouncing back after tough losses. He knows how to get his team back.
It certainly helps to have absolute world beaters at the skill position players, specifically offensively. You got Emeka Egbuka, and then you got the sensational freshman in Jeremiah Smith. But Eddie, let's talk about where you made your hay in that running back room. What makes this Ohio State tandem so good in the backfield, and how much do you think that offense is going to have to run through them and rely on them to get a win on Monday?
Well, it's going to be interesting. Listen, Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, a wonderful 1-2 punch. One is a home run hitter. The other one is more thunder and thud. I wish he could get the ball more. I'm talking about Quinshon. But if you saw Travion, you give him one crack, he is gone. He's had a couple of explosive plays. So with that tandem, it puts a lot of stress on the defense. Now, they haven't had great success, starting off trying to establish the run. It was the pass setting up the run. So I'm curious to see how Notre Dame will come out and say, hey, you know what, Ohio State, we clearly know what you got on the outside. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to say, welcome you to run the football. Because that's where they got into trouble a little bit against Nebraska, a tight game against Nebraska, the loss against Michigan. They kind of had that same philosophy. You saw what happened against Texas, whereas they took away the outside receivers and daring Ohio State to run because they're saying, okay, we'll take it that way. We'll try to stop you that way versus, trying to go man-to-man outside, stop the run, and open ourselves up to explosive on the outside with Jeremiah Smith and Egbuka.
It's funny to ask you this question, Eddie, because you were probably the answer to this question for other teams in your playing days, both in Columbus.
Who do you have to stop?
And down in Nashville. Well, yeah, no, it's the X factor question. And maybe one of the running backs for Ohio State is your answer to this. But if you could give us an answer for each team, who's the X factor in this one for both Ohio State and Notre Dame?
Well, I'll start. I'll say Quinshon Judkins. He is the X factor. He hadn't gotten a lot of touches, but they were meaningful around the goal line. You see they're running hard and tough. I would love to see him get the ball a little bit more, maybe 15 to 20 times in this ball game, because as you can see, he's a big body. He gets downhill. He imposes his will. You should see him without the ball. He hit a huge crushing block on a defender against Texas last game. So his physicality. So I think he's going to be an X factor for Ohio State. Could have a big game because he has relatively fresh legs. I think he could really carry the Buckeyes over the top and be a leading factor for if they get a win.
All right, Eddie, this is going to be a tough one for you. Last question. Who wins? who wins? Who wins and why?
Oh, let me think. Well, I'll say this. I'm going to go with Ohio State because they're hot right now. They believe. They've weathered every storm. They've answered every which way. We saw last week when Texas took away their playmaker in Jeremiah Smith, and they had different answers. Travion Henderson, Will Howard made plays. The defense has really been the star of the show throughout the playoffs. They've been playing lights out. So it's not going to be a blowout. I don't see that at all. I think it's going to be a hard-fought physical battle. One where it could be a 27-24 win with Ohio State winning it. I think that's going to be a close one. So I'm not buying what Vegas is selling in terms of them being a 9-point underdog.
Yeah, 9.5.
Yeah. 9.5. Yeah, that's too many points in this one. I think it's going to be tighter than that.
Coach, are you going to go? How are you going to watch the game?
I'm going to watch it in Atlanta. With my good friends Jerome Bettis and Tim Brown.
Heard of
so they'll be present at the game, and it's great to have these two great brands playing for a national championship. And let's just talk about the playoff. I mean, good Lord,
I'm gonna
first year playoff, great matchups. Home games for the first round. The Rose Bowl was fantastic all the way around. They got it right, man. Can we give a round of applause?
Yeah, let's go.
Just for the playoff, man.
We can do that.
Come on. I mean, honestly.
Also, I love. I'm going to give you a round of applause for watching the game. Listen,
2 Heisman winners in that box.
I was going to say Heisman winners.
A bus.
If you don't have one, need not apply. You can't hang with who Eddie's hanging with. That's awesome, man.
Listen, hey, Coach, congratulations on the gig, obviously, and here's to your prediction coming true there on Monday night. Thanks for the time.
All right, Gary, Randy, God bless y'all, man. Take care.
Much appreciated, Eddie. Thanks.
All right, guys.
It is time once again for another installment of Battle of the Anchorweight. I got it! Randy's
no.
Brett's
Bro, about that. Are we a couple ball knowers?
We just know ball. It's one of the
Whoa!
It's Jeopardy.
That's a demerit for Randy.
It's not a demerit.
That's a demerit.
That is Xavier Restrepo.
No! God darn it! I'm being told by the judges. Oh!
No.
Family Feud rules.
What Family Feud rules?
It's a tiebreaker.
You say cheater. Gary goes, Gary Striewski. That's sort of it. Like,
we surveyed 100 people who watched the kickoff, and all 100 said, you better come back next week for more shenanigans. And you listened.
That's right. It's time for another battle of the Anchorweights. And Jeopardy rules, Family Feud rules. Right now, the season series is 5-4. No, 5-4. Good guys, 5-4. America over Gareth Striewski.
Okay.
This is a specific Ohio State.
I love America more than you.
Ohio State, Notre Dame trivia. It's the final trivia challenge.
Countdown.
And we're going to do that. And each question is worth 3 points.
Okay.
There's a tiebreaker if need be. There won't need be. I'm going to win in regulation.
Okay. And somebody's going to be feeding us, because we had court last time.
Yeah, someone's going to be feeding you answers.
Somebody's going to be feeding us the questions.
Let's get the first one. Here we go.
Which player is the all-time sacks leader at the Ohio State?
Is it Joey Bosa? Is it Mike Vrabel? Or is it Chase Young? Is it Chase Young or Joey Bosa? It is. I'm going to go. All right. Do we do our answers? Ready? 1, 2, 3. I got Chase Young.
I got Mike Vrabel.
Chase Young. all-time sacks leader at Ohio State, the Ohio State, Mike Vrabel.
Boom! You got to remember,
he was not
Mike
a D
Vrabel,
lineman.
linebacker. But you got to remember, this was before you could sit out. You can go to the NFL early. You can transfer. Not that Joey Bosa or Chase Young did, but.
Yeah. All right, next question. Which school has more Heisman Trophy winners? Ohio State, Notre Dame. They both have the same. They both have the same.
Okay, question.
Ooh, that is fun.
Question to the judges.
Yes.
Does one person count as two? Is what I'm saying, Archie Griffin.
Archie Griffin.
Does Archie Griffin.
How many individual Heisman?
So individual winners, not trophies.
Okay, individual winners. Okay. All right. You ready to answer? I've got my answer.
Stand by. It is.
These markers are strong smelling at present. At present time.
Got it.
All right. What is that?
Ohio State, A.
That looks like A and B. Oh, C is the same.
They both have 7. Okay, they both have 7.
My goodness.
Okay. I knew Notre Dame had 7.
So Gary has 3 points.
Yep.
Randy has none points. Don't appreciate that. What does the famous yellow sign say that Notre Dame players smack on the way out to a game?
Does spelling count?
All right. Play like a champion today. Play like a champion.
You spelled A
today.
wrong. Made you look.
What? I was like,
looked.
What?
He looked.
Okay, so 6-3. I'm still
T-Dub laughing.
How many
what
more questions do we have? All right. Which school established the first university band?
Oh.
The first university band. The first university band. Was it A, Notre Dame, B, Ohio State, or C, neither? The first university band.
If you keep asking yourself the same question, the answer is not going to materialize.
Okay. I don't like my answer already. I'm going to go C. C.
The Ohio State.
A was Notre Dame? What? You're
should've
telling me Harvard didn't have a band in like the 1600s?
Well, they were busy doing math.
They were busy ruining tea. They were dumping tea into harbors.
All right. Which, by the way, that was all due to a 1% tax on tea. Take a look at your pay stub. Why are we not rioting more? Why are we not? They're taking 30% from us.
True or false? Ohio State has more wins all time than Notre Dame.
Question: is this official? Officially, like in the record books?
Oh, are we doing the whole like tattoo gate, like the wins that Ohio State lost? Is this because there's net, and then there's net? Were you familiar with that? There's gross, which are your answers, and then true or false? I got false.
I also have false.
Are we true?
Oh! Wow.
Oh my gosh! I thought Notre Dame's been doing this for so much longer.
And again, that's because Ohio State back in the day they were playing like the Columbus School of Electricity and stuff.
They were. Yes, that's true.
They were playing. They were playing like
a local like boys' home.
Yeah, the Burlington Northern South Frankfurt Railroad.
That's a lot of directions. And the amount of current NFL players that attended Notre Dame over 51 or less than 51?
Current is the amount of current NFL
51?
players that attended Notre Dame.
I have to get this right. Oh, it's over or less than 51 from Notre Dame.
Clock? Can we get a clock? Oh. I'm just playing averages here.
All right, what'd you do? I went less. Dang it. So I lost the matter.
50.
Dang it. 6-9. Damn very fine, right? All right, Gary wins.
Apologize
so
to
it's
me. Legend! Legend!
Can I see what my photo? No, I don't even want to know. Is that Handram?
That is the hand. That's whose son actually just signed with the Texas Rangers.
Well done. So law enforcement. So 5-5, final.
Yep.
That's it. Congratulations
quick little
on
paper,
the tie.
rock, scissors to settle this thing.
Sure. Yes. 2 out of 3 or just 1?
How much time do we have,
2 out of 3
guys?
or just 1? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Best out of 5.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Got me.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh, 2-0. Okay.
Best of 5.
Yeah, I know.
Hey.
Okay.
I could win the whole season right here.
Oh my God. All right.
Ready?
All right.
Blind. I'm gonna do this blind.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Got you.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Dang it! I shot the scissors too many times.
Crown me.
All right, thank you for watching the Kickoff presented by Ram Trucks. Thank you for joining us all season. And to everyone behind the scenes who made it happen, thank you so much.